I wrap my arms around her in return, thankful that she's as eager as I am when her lips crush against mine. I moan into the kiss, all the gentleness gone as heat and need consume us. She draws away, her gaze trailing down my body as her fingers do the same, undoing the buttons of the shirt with fluid motions. My stomach flurries as her fingertips whisper against the skin of my stomach, leaving goosebumps in her wake, until she pushes her hands beneath the shoulders of the shirt. Her eyes flick up to mine, the amber of them aflame and rich with the deepest golds. I want this so much, but are you sure? I'm very sure. Her lips lift into a smirk that sends a throb aching deep in my belly. She slides the material away from my shoulders and the shirt pools to the floor in a puddle of midnight satin. Our lips are on each other's again, her hands wandering over as much of me as she can reach while my own fingers fumble to undo the buttons on her dress. More of our clothing dances to the floor, more skin exposed to explore with fingers and mouths. She leads me back towards the bed, gently laying me down beneath her as she moves to rest on top of me. The weight of her hips grinds into mine, making me arch upwards. She takes full advantage of the position to run her tongue in a long, languid stroke up my chest. I clutch at her shoulders, wrapping my legs around her, urging her in further. You're the most delicious thing I've ever tasted, she murmurs against my ear as her hand snakes down between us. Lower, even lower. Focusing on her words is impossible as her fingers begin small strokes around my aching need. My hands reach for anything to grasp, the duvet, the headboard, her arms, as pleasure rushes through me. Her kisses continue hard and hot against my body. Everywhere her lips meet flares with heat, adding to the already heady sensation, almost making me dizzy, as her fingers continue to draw utter bliss from me. I sink into the bed when she suddenly stops. I glance up at her above me, her gaze deep and twinkling. What is it? Her body presses further down onto mine as she kisses me slowly, her tongue exploring the curves of my lips. Every motion she makes is slow, with no rush, even as my body begs for more. I just still can't describe how happy you make me, she says, the wash of the words enough to almost send me over the edge right now. And we're even, I say with a smile, drawing her in close for a kiss, because I've never been happier than with you. Never been happier? That's a lot of pressure, she jokes, grinning at me as her face nestles into the crook of my neck to kiss just behind my earlobe. I suck in my bottom lip as a moan nearly echoes from me. Speaking is no longer necessary as her hands smooth down my thighs, her body following the motion as she shuffles further down, her mouth poised over me. She glances at me for a final time, and I smile, and she lowers her mouth, releasing flood of pleasure, which makes my mind flash with brilliance. It takes us both a moment to catch her breath before she moves with eager motions. I shake with each breath that rasps out of me, the pleasure steadily building, even as I desperately try to push it down to savor everything about this. But when Farah moans against me so desperately, her perfect gaze looking up at me with such open care, I lose myself. My body explodes with a million fireworks, each fizzling and sizzling beneath my skin, leaving a glow so intense I'm surprised it's not physically radiating from me. Farah crawls on top of me again with heavy breaths a moment later. I wrap an arm around her, stroking down her back with light touches.